Hello, guys. It's the Nerdquestpodcast, episode 3. As usual, it's me, Jacob, with you, along with
Josh, a.k.a. Zorgulon, Destroyer of Worlds.
He's got to say that title.
I do.
We do have two guests today. We have Josh's little brother. We have...
My name is Matthew, also occasionally designated as Jenkins, no title.
And then we also have...
I'm James, the gimpy one.
He's our gimpy little friend, but we love him.
Yes.
Anyway, I'd like to remind you guys, we are not affiliated with the Nerdquest indie movie coming out this year. We are just a big, separate, nerdy podcast.
Woo.
Today's episode is something that's kind of literally infected the world. Well, figuratively and literally infected the world. We don't literally have zombies, but...
And there you go, you ruined the surprise.
Yep. Everywhere you go, though, you can't go anywhere without...
Everywhere you go, people gonna know zombies.
Yep. I mean...
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
You come out with a game.
No.
You come out with a game. It's probably gonna have a zombie DLC. Red Dead Redemption.
There were a couple songs about him too. Like our cousin came up with one called found one called "Dude the Zombie."
There's Rob Zombie.
There's tons of zombie dubstep.
Yep.
Jonathan Colton. Anybody?
I've heard.
Yes.
Read your brains.
Yep. It's
Zombie Mania.
It's
And
the
of
new
course,
craze.
the infamous zombie survival guide.
Yep.
I have a copy of that in the trunk of my car.
At all
And
times.
Yep.
for us nerds, it's not a matter if it's gonna happen, but when it's gonna happen. And we have today we're gonna be talking about our ideal zombie apocalypse.
As weird as that sounds.
As weird as that sounds, but like how we would have it and what we would want to do.
Everyone has their own ideal.
Yeah. Everybody has their own kind of image of what they want to have.
Alright, but first things first, we gotta lay out, because there's so much conflicting stuff about zombies.
Because there's so many different iterations of them.
Right. We got to lay out the ground rules for the zombies that we're using.
Okay.
Okay, we're going with the old school shamblers. They cannot walk past A, the condition of their body when they are reanimated, and B, the length of their legs.
Have we just... Go ahead, Matt.
So these are actually reanimated, not like infected or whatever.
I think
that should be left up for debate, because
Yeah.
as people in the zombie apocalypse, we're not going to know.
if you watch The Walking Dead or a couple other zombie shows, it's never
Really
explained how it came about. It just happens.
Right.
And we've also come up with the idea that no one's going to be popping up out of the ground. If you were dead before the virus hit, you're going to stay dead.
Right.
And your body. So you kind of went into this. Our idea of the zombies is that they're at first they're going to be like quick, but they're slowly going to deteriorate over time and become slower and more vulnerable. But they're never going to die completely until you. Yeah, just throw it in if you guys have something to say.
Also, other rules. Like I said, the top speed is measured by leg length and body position.
Yep.
They don't have fatigue toxins; those don't work in their brain, so they never get tired. They have psychological warfare on your side. Because I mean, imagine laying down to sleep and over again you just hear the groans and moans of the undead.
They never rest.
Yeah, it's going to be hard on you psychologically.
And filtering it out would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, eventually, you're probably just going to be hearing them out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, PTSD if nothing else.
Now, this is the first podcast where we've received questions,
and we're excited about this.
Yeah, we did. Josh and I got pretty excited over it. I don't know about Matt or Jamie, but they might have been too.
I'm pretty excited.
Did not give it as much thought as I should have.
It's okay, on the fly, it happens.
Yeah.
But we're gonna kick it off, and it's gonna kind of kick off our conversation. So these three questions probably is what gonna run the podcast and steer it. So.
All right. So the first question asked by Anonymous. You're in the zombie apocalypse and are granted 4 real-life weapons of your choice. What weapons do you choose? You want to go first, Matt?
Sure. Well, my first weapon I'd choose would be just probably a regular pistol. I don't know a lot about calibers, so let's say it's a fairly common type, but it's not so weak as it couldn't penetrate bone very easily, because that way it's an effective weapon. You'd be able to find ammo, for it.
If you're going to go for a common pistol, I would just suggest probably a 9mm.
I would
All
agree.
right.
It's not going to have as much kickback, and you're going to be able to get off about 3 shots, whereas with a 45, you're only going to get off 1 in the same amount of time.
But also with me, my aim is not that good with guns, so I'm not going to be using it as a long range. I'm going to be using it as an emergency weapon. If a zombie grabs me, I can put it against the head, temple, wherever is more convenient, and shoot it.
Exactly. I was going to mention the because one of the rules we do have for our zombies, I didn't get through all of them, Jake.
Sorry.
Was that they are attracted by sounds. I mean, that's kind of that's a fairly common one, but I felt like it needed to be said. So the sound of a pistol going off is going to alert at least the ones that are nearby.
Yeah, we kind of came up with the idea. They're not going to come from miles around. They're not going to be able to
They're not
detect
going to
it
have
from...
super hearing.
Yeah, it's just going to be something within the relevant vicinity. Did we discuss that if they'd be attracted by smell or by scent too?
We did, yeah. They will be.
Okay.
So bathe you two.
Yeah.
We're not.
Real quick,
Zombie fodder.
I've only got a couple more rules to go through. I figured we should have before we continue with the
Okay,
questions.
go ahead.
There can either be stragglers of a. There can be just a few zombies, one or two. They can also come in hordes. It's not like they intentionally band together. It's kind of whatever happens to be in the vicinity. Of course, something on their side is that they're going to look like our friends and neighbors. That's going to be hard on us psychologically.
Unless there's some serious mental issues.
And that adds to what we was said
Unless
earlier
you're
about the
just- he's
psychological warfare. Because you got to think about it. What if you saw someone you really care about, or someone you know in general, and someone that doesn't bug you a lot? What are you going to do when
they become a zombie?
When they become a zombie?
Exactly.
You're going to try and avoid
Keep
them
them in my
probably.
basement, of course.
Oh, something on their side. They're immune to poisons, which takes out a rather large skill set of mine.
He knows a lot
No
about
nightshade
plants.
for you.
No nightshade, no azalea, no rhododendron. Come on, guys.
Save that.
Headshots will kill them. Decapitations won't kill per se. Their heads will still be gnashing, but their bodies won't work.
And if you're actually wearing foot gear, there's not a whole lot the heads can do.
So basically, destroy the brain.
Yeah.
Same as usual.
They don't. On the
So
other
if we're destroying the brain, shouldn't we just put them in front of a television?
Oh, did
We'll throw them in front of South Park or SpongeBob.
Oh god. On our side, one other thing on their side, they can't feel pain or fear.
Naturally.
That would make sense.
Yeah, because they're dead. On our side, they don't have an adrenaline boost. Thank God. They're pretty slow typically, and they can be outsmarted fairly easily.
Yeah, they're not going to be sprinting at you, but we imagine when it begins, the healthier people who
They'll
are
be
turned into zombies.
quick.
They'll be quick. Like a brisk pace.
Right. So I need to start working out. So Matt, back to you. We covered your 9mm pistol.
Yeah. This is... I actually got this idea from my brother, but... Partially. But I think Mom's home.
No, just keep...
Okay. Probably a sickle. Like a hand scythe for those of you who don't know the difference. Because it's meant for cutting down thick and difficult stalks. So, while that's not exactly comparable to a human neck, it's going to make it a lot easier. And, yes? And if you hold it up at an angle, when a zombie's lunging at you, they could just cut their own head off.
Yeah. And for the record, those of you who heard the dog barking in the background, that's my brother's dog, Cinnamon. He's a huge fan of the podcast. He's just really excited we're doing a zombie one.
And then, for my third real-life weapon, I think it'd probably be a katana. And for those of you who are thinking, it's overused for just about anything, which may be true or maybe not, but the point is, it's strong, it's light, and it can be used fairly quickly. It's not a really short sword, so you've got some range with it. And also, I want it to be light because I am a diabetic, so I want to minimize my amount of physical exertion as much as possible, so my blood sugar will stay normal.
Yeah, we'll come back to the diabetic later in the podcast too.
Are we gonna go?
Did you list your fourth one?
No.
Do you have a fourth one?
Probably. I haven't actually come up with a solid one, but probably something that can double as a tool. Like I know my brother's a big fan of a crowbar. Probably like a solid mid-sized hammer of some sort. Or like maybe a pickaxe if I can get to a sporting goods store.
I think that would work pretty well.
You and me next.
I'll go next. No surprise on my first one. It's gonna be a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Me being a big baseball player.
Yeah, I would say if you know anything about Farney, then baseball or baseball bat is going to come into it.
Yeah, I mean it's just metal
just
baseball
nature.
bat. It's nature. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's good. You got pretty decent range.
It's light.
It can be pretty light. It might take a little more exertion out of me, just kind of beating someone's head or beating a zombie's head in. I think I stay away from the swords on this one. I have an assault rifle at home. I would use that. But those would be the first two I could pick up.
Right.
I would go 9mm pistol too, maybe, and just because I'm pretty good with guns and it's a dependable gun too. Also, I'd probably go with the shotgun. Simple 12 gauge, nothing fancy, just obliterate some zombies.
Yeah.
That was 4.
Yep.
Jamie?
My list isn't a whole lot different, I guess. I would have a shotgun because it's really practical. It gives you some distance and some spread. I would definitely have a hatchet because it's a tool and a weapon. Not a terribly effective weapon, but it works because it can be used as a throwing weapon as well for those of us who practice such an art. And, let's see, a vat of napalm. I know that sounds weird, but homemade napalm is really easy to make.
Isn't it just gasoline and styrofoam?
Ever heard?
I don't think we should tell our viewers that, but yeah.
I already know it. The damage has been done.
James, beware the ones that stay up, though.
Yeah.
Flaming zombies are a bad
Yeah,
idea.
a little bit.
Yeah, but...
That's why I never got flamethrowers in zombie movies. I mean, flamethrower! Okay, so it's on fire.
it's not going
Great
to
job.
destroy the brain.
Well, if you've got a
Well,
good-
yeah, but
if
it
you've got-
will over time. I
Let's
mean,
say-
if you're going against a group of them that are in an encampment that's fucked anyway, you're gonna want to get rid of them quickly, and that's a pretty easy way to do it without wasting munition.
It also depends on how far away they are from
But
you,
it
because
also-
some flamethrowers have a
but
pretty
it
good
also
range.
wastes gas,
True.
which you need for trains.
It can waste valuables.
As for my 4 weapons, I went with. If any of you have read the zombie survival guide, I've read that numerous times. I went with the Shaolin spade. That was actually I got it from the book. It's about an 8-foot weapon, and it has, instead of a spearhead, it just has this wide, like a flat spade. It's really sharp, and it's good for distant, like, decapitations or mutilations. Matt, my brother already mentioned crowbar. I mean, it's a hammer, it's a hook, it's 2 stabbing ends, and it's a bludgeon. I mean, it's really anything you'll need. Oh, and it's a pry bar too. I mean, come on. A farming scythe or a hand scythe or a sickle, because it's quick. It's right next to you. You can slice something off real quick. And my last one would be a crossbow with a scope and laser sights and quite a few bolts, because I went with this over a gun because bolts can be reused.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bolts. Bolts you can make them a heck of a lot easier than you can make any bullets.
Yeah.
And silent. And it doesn't take as much energy, strength, or training as a longbow.
Okay.
So that's my 4th.
Yeah. All right. No, I think if the 4 of us were in a zombie apocalypse, we'd be pretty set and probably wouldn't have that much problem surviving.
Yeah. I just realized there might be an apparent discrepancy with my list. I mentioned how I want to minimize physical exertion, but also how most of my weapons were melee weapons.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I'm pretty fast and I'm terrible with guns. So
and ammo can get heavy if you have a lot.
Yeah, depending on the type of ammo you have and how much you have.
and you don't need to reload a sword.
That's true.
Yeah, blades never need to be reloaded.
They do need to be sharpened, however.
Yeah,
True, but that's going to be a lot more easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, easier to do than finding new ammo.
It's easier to carry a whetstone than...
Yeah, next question. What would be your bare necessities in the zombie apocalypse? Not really stuff that we need, but that we would desperately want. Aside from weapons, food, medicine, etc. You want to go again, Matt?
Sure. I don't have a lot for this one either. Books would definitely be high up there, both for learning information, because the more you know, the longer you're probably going to survive,
Mm-hmm.
and for entertainment, because we're in a group, we're not going to be on watch or moving all the time.
Yeah.
And, the human mind can get strange without anything to occupy it sometimes.
Yeah. I was like that at work today.
And he's not even in an apocalypse yet.
Yeah.
Another thing that my brother came up with before me was the knowledge that my dog is safe, because my dog is very close to me, and I would just be devastated if anything happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Just as kind of a general thing, lighter fluid would be nice, just for, it's fire can get dangerous, but you can also use it for multiple things.
Right.
Yeah.
And
There's
a map of the local area, that'd be nice.
I didn't even think about
I didn't
that.
either. He's on the ball. Oh,
yeah.
probably a compass.
Probably a compass to get your bearings out.
Which way am I going?
This is why we're a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just went to the nitty gritty, and I went kind of selfish route with stuff that I just wanted. I didn't think. I didn't really think about. I felt that as a group, the group as a whole, like everybody would kind of take care of themselves, and then we'd go on group scouting parties to then collect for everyone else. But for me, if you know me, I have a bad habit. I've been trying to kick. I chew, and I feel like in a zombie apocalypse, I wouldn't care how bad that habit is. I would just as a stress reliever, I would need it. So I'd probably go with some chew. Every zombie group needs a stock supply of booze.
Yeah.
I would need music. I would need an MP3 of some kind because I need a zombie killing playlist, along with something to charge it. Maybe somehow rig up a solar powered charger. That's
Okay, MacGyver.
hey man, you never know.
That's what the books are for.
Yeah, that's another good reason to have books.
Yeah.
That was pretty much all I could think of. When I read that question, I was thinking of like just for you, not as the group as a whole, because I figured it was implied that the group as a whole would grab the stuff they needed.
Right. Jamie?
Well, we're really going to be stocked on booze because I said whiskey and cigars.
So if you need it, he's got it.
Yeah.
If you haven't got an idea of how we're gonna run our zombie apocalypse, it's just gonna be one big drunken rager.
That's how I find the best. Just
It's also how I drive best. Wait, did I just say that?
What you don't know about Jamie is that when he's drunk, he walks straight.
I know, it's weird. For all of you who didn't get that, get out. No, James has CP, cerebral palsy, and it's affected his leg. He doesn't walk normally.
Hence the reference to him as the gimpy one.
Yeah. So, did you have anything else, or just whiskey and cigars?
No, there are other things too. Those are the two most important ones.
Jamie's treating it like a bachelor pad.
Whiskey, cigars, strippers. That one might be a zombie. I'll look into it later.
Additionally, I would like to have some lockpicks
and
a soldering kit.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Because both of those would be really, really useful.
This guy.
This is why you need a group in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
because
if you can go it alone, if you think you can go it alone in the zombie apocalypse, you probably can for a while. But
After
you will forget something, you'll overlook something, you'll trip up, and you'll get it.
But not only that, if you're alone, think of the isolation.
You're going to go crazy a lot.
You're going to go crazy.
You're going to end up putting a bullet through your brain.
Well, that, or you're going to put a bloody handprint on a ball and call it Wilson.
True.
I feel like
Speaking of
references.
It's Castaway.
Okay.
Speaking of isolation, I know she's not an object, but I would like to have my girlfriend there.
Just rub it in our faces, why don't you?
Yes, nerds do have girlfriends. It's weird.
Sometimes.
Except the other three people.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright. Mine would be, I'd go with, once again, that's going to be awesome because my first one on the list is booze.
Hang on, before you start this, grab a seat for this one because Josh went over his list before the podcast, and dear God,
It's not super long.
Oh
No,
God.
It's longer than ours.
It's longer than ours.
Detailed.
And the explanation is going to be a little long, too.
Yeah, it's true.
But it makes sense.
I put thought into this. You guys know that I have many different zombie survival plans depending on who I'm with or who else survives or whether I'm alone.
This is what keeps Josh up late at night.
He mentioned,
I have prepared for this moment my whole life.
He mentioned, I think it was Plan 497 earlier today.
Yeah, this is Plan 497. The worst part is that wasn't even a surprise to my brother.
Nope.
But anyway, so booze is the first thing on my list. I mean, among other things, it's fun. It doesn't go bad. And if nothing else, Molotov.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put beer on my list. That goes bad pretty
But that falls under the whole thing of like, flaming zombies are no good.
We'll get into that later.
Okay.
Traps.
Ammunition.
That's true.
Ammunition. Normally, I would classify this as like weapon-esque. So, but I'll explain that in a minute. Cigars and cigarettes. I'd like the knowledge that my dog is safe because I love my dog. Not that one.
That one's mine.
Yeah.
But books, because I love books. They're great for everything. Exercise equipment. Yes, if you know me, I'm a bit of a fatty. But in a zombie apocalypse, I'm not going to want to stay that way.
I feel like the low rations and all the moving around we would do would take care of that enough.
I agree with Jake.
Well,
I don't know if you'd need actual
that's
equipment.
losing weight though.
It's not gaining muscle.
And it's something to do when you can't sleep.
But that's a lot to lug around.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like this was. I built this with the idea that we would get there. Like this would be. We would get
Even
there.
so, it's a lot of stuff. That's why I didn't put books on my list, because that's a lot of weight.
That's covered by the big truck, though.
Keep it right.
And also, if you're really in an emergency, grab a bag of like 60 books. It's going to be a weapon.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So then brain teasers, like little puzzles or things like that. Just,
Keep yourself sane.
Keep yourself sane, keep your mind sharp.
Unless the puzzle's so hard it drives you crazy.
Rubik's Cube.
Oh, God.
Or you get like obsessed with it, and that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Mattresses, also an explanation. And a big truck. I'm not talking like a big pickup or a Mack truck. No, if you think you've seen a big truck, you are wrong.
Are you thinking like a deuce and a half?
No, I'm thinking bigger.
Semi?
Like,
Optimus Prime semi?
a little bigger than that.
Wait, if we're going to have a semi, where in God's name are we going to get gas for that?
We're going to be a rolling target.
James?
Yeah.
No, because...
No, we can armor it. That'll be fine.
Yes!
James?
Okay.
Also,
Not to mention it's shelter, too.
Yeah.
Also, as for the gasoline, if we follow the plan my brother mentioned earlier, we might only need it for one shot.
That's true.
But also, if it depending on what kind of engine it's running on, like a deuce and a half can run on anything you put it into it. And so, like if it's something like that, then we find a stockpile of like vegetable oil or something,
Yeah.
or some kind of ethanol.
Oh, God, can you imagine all of the grease left over in...
well, you could also
They get a slip trap.
Yeah.
you could also use. That's
Or
where
fire.
booze could come in handy. I mean,
Yeah.
vodka can make a handy gasoline in a
So,
Pinch.
the explanation
in
for
a
some of this.
pinch.
Booze, ammo, and cigars, for the most part, are the same thing. Okay, once the world economy collapses, everyone knows these are going to be the currency because people are going to want booze for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Ammunition, you always need ammunition if you've got a gun. Cigars and cigarettes, if you have nicotine in your system, you're going to want more.
But I think this also comes down to where you're at. I mean, if you're in like where we live in Washington, it's not a big populated area. It's kind of isolated and
Right.
stuff. And it's like you're not going to find a big population, a big group of people here.
Mhm.
So I mean, I figure if you're in a big city, that could come in handy.
Well, I'm actually thinking of like scavengers that we meet along the way
Mhm.
because we're going to. I mean, it's if we're scavenging ourselves, we're
definitely-
going to meet scavengers along the way.
And also,
But-
there's going to be a period of time when people start making a resurgence.
Yeah.
What? But think about that. You run into a group of bandits. That's another thing about a zombie apocalypse I don't think a lot of people think about is the fact that you have the
Raiders.
zombies to combat, but you have like bandits and
Right,
rogue
looters,
people
like we're going
and
to be.
looters. Yeah, who type of people who shoot first and ask questions later. So you got to think. So that goes into the whole trading thing too. Like you may not have enough time to be like, hey, we got stuff to trade with for a peaceful trade. You may be walking down the road one day and shots start going over your head.
First of all, I'm not going to be walking down the road. That's just silly. I'm going to drive my big truck. But that we've armored, obviously.
Okay.
So, but like, and obviously, yeah, they're going to be bandits, but I'm sure they're going to be
Some.
people who are willing to trade. Because most people, especially if we find like one person, they're not going to fight if it's one or two against a group of four.
If you've seen the movie The Road, which is a fantastic movie, if you haven't seen it, see it.
I think you can find it on
It's-
Netflix.
Yeah, you can right now.
Oh, okay.
It shows really well that people, for the most part, aren't bad and they're not going to be trying to shoot you. Most people are going to try to rebuild their society and get things back to normal. So I think a big part of the reason why I didn't put that into consideration and Josh didn't put that into consideration is that that's not going to be the status quo. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's not the status quo. It's not what you're going to see all the time.
Not that you shouldn't be wary if you meet survivors. Just don't shoot first unless they start shooting. That's not shooting first. So
I think there's two things that could happen if once the zombie apocalypse breaks out. The first thing that's going to happen is that people will try to band together, and that's where the trading will come in handy. But I think once resources start going low, that's where people start getting desperate, and that's where people start going out and killing without asking.
But when resources start getting low, that's when it's going to be peak trading because they will be willing to give anything to get these items.
See, and that was the other option I was going to go with is that once it breaks out, maybe like the first couple weeks or couple weeks or
basically, you just got to
month.
test them for hostility.
Yeah, I think when it first breaks out, like what could happen is that people are going to riot, people are going to loot, people are going to. This is the part where people shoot first, ask questions later. But then as things start to settle down and people start to get a head on their shoulders, that's where they realize, hey, we got a lot of supplies here. we could use this to our advantage because we have supplies that people don't have, but they could have stuff that we don't have.
Right. And, yeah, we'll get back to that later. So yeah, that was my other thing. I already explained exercise equipment. Oh, mattresses. It's something I picked up from the survival guide. Quick and fairly easy, mostly soundproofing of a room or a house. Because that goes with the whole zombies, the zombie mode thing.
Yeah, the psychological how hard would it be to fall asleep knowing that they're out there?
Right.
Of course, it could have the opposite effect of blocking out all outside sound, and then you just kind of go crazy from that too.
Yeah, I read an article a week ago about
the silent room,
about the world's most quietest room.
I read that too. And
It's
that's
surrounded
what brought it
by
up.
and like people could barely. I think the longest people could stand in there was like 45 minutes because
They used to train astronauts. NASA does.
because because after a while they start realizing how quiet it is, and they start hearing their own body their own body's functions, whether it's like moving the arm and hearing the crick of it, or like their heartbeat or something, and it can literally drive you crazy.
Another reason for you to have your music.
And also, but the soundproofing thing is not going to be completely silent either.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
also,
only going to be as silent as
That's
you
true.
can make it.
and if we're all in a group, then hey, we've got people.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, snoring might drown it out too.
I snore pretty loud, but that's the other reason I have a mattress. We're soundproofing the zombies. We're also soundproofing ourselves.
So we won't attract more.
Right. Okay. Next question.
And it'll deafen your snoring.
Yeah, have we gone through?
We have one more question.
I was just saying, have we gone through all
I'm the
our
last
stuff?
person. We're going him. Then...
Okay. So next question.
All right, next question. Now this was kind of a fun one. Oh, last one and this one. All these were anonymous questions.
Yeah, and before we even go on, whether thank you to whoever asked the questions, whether it was one person or it was multiple. We really appreciate it, and it means a lot to us, especially since it helps drive the podcast. It helps drive conversation and keep us focused on one thing instead of going on random tangents about a bunch of stuff.
And we encourage anonymous questions. We even more encourage non-anonymous questions.
Yeah, like people because we want to be able to thank the people asking this question because one, we appreciate it, and two, it helps the podcast. So you in return are helping the podcast in creating content and conversation and keeping us on kind of a one-track mind where we can talk about the same thing.
And we would love to thank you personally.
Yeah, that too.
The question is, what would your dream 5-man band zombie killing team be? You and 4 fictional characters of your choice.
Yeah.
Go, Matt.
Now this one I have 3, and that's about it.
That's fine.
For the record, this is where you'll really get to see where all of our nerdiness comes in. It's kind of fun to see what we all pick based on what obviously our own experiences and knowledge. So,
now my first character is one that not a lot of people would expect someone to choose in a situation like this. First one is from Nintendo. It's Samus Aran, because I've never seen that suit run out of power, and it does everything.
Now you're talking. I'm fairly familiar with Samus. That's Metroid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I've never seen that suit run out of power, it does everything, and she actually has some physical combat training too.
tank missile.
And kaboom. My second one is from the DC universe, which I don't know a whole lot about it. It's the character Deadshot, because you want to have someone who never misses.
Now I know a little bit about Deathshot. Deadshot. I don't know what you do. I was getting Deathstroke and Deadshot mixed up. He's from the Batman universe, and he's deadly accurate. He's an expert marksman, especially from long range. And the reason why he hates Batman so much is because Batman's the only person he's ever missed a shot on.
Which is, tell him, hey, you can prove you're the best, and kaboom.
Yeah,
also,
and then the lots of dead zombies.
Also, he seems a little bit more stable than Marvel's equivalent of Bullseye.
Yeah, I'd rather have Deadshot than Bullseye.
God.
So, that's kind of why I chose him. Dang, I kind of lost my train of thought.
While you're thinking about that, I'm just gonna say that real quick, or to piggyback on Bullseye. I feel that he'd get to a point where he gets bored. He'd start taking target practice on his own people.
Yeah.
Just to stay sharp.
Yeah. I could see it. I feel like Deadshot might be a little bit more reliable because he has a mental issue, but that drives him to be the best shot, not necessarily makes him kill his own.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure once Bullseye started getting one-shot kills on zombies with marbles, he'd start looking for other things.
He'd get bored.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could tell him to do more ricochet shots, but that only get you so long.
That only lasts so long, yeah. It's a stall. Any others?
Yeah.
We can come back to you, too.
Yeah.
Well, one guy, he's kind of a loner, but he is one that I would always want helping me kill zombies, is Frank West. From the Dead Rising series. Because,
oh my god.
Why? How did that not come up with
Yeah,
mine?
seriously.
One, if you've played the game, he potentially could kill over 63,000, largely by himself. He gets, especially if I'm choosing him at the highest level, he's got all of these seemingly random but rather effective martial arts moves in case zombies getting close.
And he's resourceful as all get out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's...
Gumball machine. End of argument.
You want a fun zombie video game to play? Dead Rising. And Dead Rising 2.
And Dead Rising 2 off the record.
You don't like Dead Rising 2?
Oh, I don't like either of them. It's Pokemon Snap with zombies.
Dead Rising 2 doesn't have a camera.
I haven't played Dead Rising 2.
Played Dead Rising 2.
And
it was Pokemon Snap with zombies.
The camera is actually not very integral, which, hey, you know, you could also ask them to take pictures of your favorite zombie killing moments.
The first time you kill a zombie.
See, this is where like Zombieland come in play. You got Zombie Kill of the Week. Take a picture of Zombie Kill of the Week.
I almost chose Tallahassee.
Oh, I didn't really think of Zombieland when I came in this, but go ahead.
Any others? Like Chuck Green, maybe?
Well, you know, in case Jake runs into a motor problem he can't solve.
Then we got Chuck Green there. I mean,
true.
Yeah.
Van Helsing, maybe.
I think that was 4. But you, I mean,
Samus.
Yeah,
Samus, Deadshot, and Frank were the only ones that I mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he needs one more. Sonic the Hedgehog. Solid Snake.
Well,
Snake in general.
There's one guy, it's not from a very well-known game that I know, but it kind of slipped on the radar, but I really liked it. If anyone's ever played Dark Sector, the main character from that.
Yeah.
Because one thing, he's got a throwing weapon attached to his arm that comes back. 2, he's a special ops agent, so he knows how to use weapons.
Yeah.
And 3, the growth of the infection is spread over his arm. Well, okay, just a side note, infection versus infection, awesome. And the other part is it can like stop bullets, so it would be so zombies wouldn't be quite as effective against him.
And who knows, it might make him immune to the zombie, whatever it is.
That's true. And he can make force fields. Who would not want that? Okay, anyways.
I went with kind of an overall theme of the guys I want. I went with a group of guys who have combat training in both hand-to-hand melee and marksmanship. And I went with Blade. Because
he's Blade.
Well, one, I feel like he's one of the most underrated comic book heroes
true.
ever because he's just a badass, all right? And I love the Blade series. You got something to say?
Oh, just an idle thing. I wonder if being a half vampire would make him immune to becoming a zombie.
It doesn't.
Oh, really?
They did this in Marvel Zombies.
Oh, right.
Well, then, there you go.
Well, he'd certainly know how to kill several of them. Anyways.
I'd go with Rambo because
he's Rambo?
Because he's Rambo and he's a badass, too. I went with Josh. Okay, Josh gave me crap about this because
of our Injustice podcast.
If you go back and listen to our first podcast, and you'll hear me talk about how much I hate Deathstroke because in Injustice, Josh spams with him, but
not anymore.
Well, not that much anymore. But he is. You can't deny that. One, he's an expert marksmanship, and 2, he has a huge sword he knows how to fight with.
Yeah.
So he would be very handy. And then my last one would be Master Chief because
armor.
Armor. But if you know the Halo series, he's been augmented. He's been augmented to basically be as close to a superhero as possible.
Without actually being a
superhero.
Pretty close, though.
Yeah. And he's expert marksmanship, and so...
And I've yet to see him get in a situation he can't get out of, which is actually a reason for one of my brother's characters, too.
And he's one of the luckiest characters in the world.
Why is that?
Mark 10.
That's why Cortana chose him.
No, that's true. But it's just... And if you read the Halo series in Fall of Reach, it talks about how his main drive is that any kind of problem he comes up with, he wants to find out how to win. And he wants to find the quickest, most reliable way to win. So I mean, why not have someone so driven like that?
Yeah.
Jamie.
All right, mine are the Punisher.
Nice.
Because he's the Punisher. Come on.
And things will die.
He kills everything.
I like where this is going.
And you're not going to run out of ammo for a very long time.
and there was the whole thing. There was a whole series about Punisher versus the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. And most of them were something not
killed,
quite...
I think 99% of them.
They weren't exactly zombies, but they were something very close, so...
Yeah, so, next character.
My next one is Walter from Fringe. If anybody's ever watched Fringe before...
I actually have not. Why don't you explain that a little bit, please?
Okay, so Walter from... the Fringe universe is about fringe science. It's about looking at dark holes and stuff like that. It's a fiction thing. It's not an actual...
Really?
Obviously.
And it's a fictional character.
Yes. And the character Walter is insane.
That's great.
That sounds like something you would have on a zombie team.
He has dementia, among other mental disorders.
Even better.
However, he's incredibly intelligent and a genius beyond all reason. Like, he makes Stephen Hawking look like a window-looking retard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
So he's a little bit like Richtofen from the semi-famous Nazi zombies from Call of Duty.
Exactly. So I would want him on my team because we could work on a cure. Or he could work on a cure.
He has a good point.
Awesome.
Look like you're collaborating. That's why we have Frank West with the camera.
And honestly, James is one of the smartest people that I know, and one of the few that I will admit in the same room that he is smarter than I am. So, to me, admitting that someone else would work on a cure and like he wouldn't be able to contribute is kind of like overwhelming to me. I can't even fathom that.
Okay, my next one is Ezio from the Assassin's Creed series.
I love you so much right now. It's not even funny.
Jake has the world's most massive heart-on for the Assassin's Creed
You
series.
have no idea. But for another podcast.
Yes, yes.
Oh, Joe.
And I picked Ezio because, let's face it, he'll spend the whole time sitting in a tree, watching for zombies, and just kill them all. It'll be beautiful. It'll be my watchguard.
Can I ask this real quick?
Yeah.
Why out of Altair, Connor, and Ezio, why Ezio?
Because I like his name the best.
Okay.
I don't have an actual reason. I just picked Ezio because...
I'm sure all three would be quality in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would go with either Connor or Ezio, and I feel like Ezio probably... Ezio, I feel like, is the most thoroughly trained.
Yeah. I like Altair's character the best, though.
Me too, but Altair is trained in mostly melee weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Ezio has a pretty decent balance between ranged and melee. I haven't played Assassin's Creed 3. I don't know what Connor's repertoire is like.
Connor doesn't deal with a sword really. He deals with hidden blade and a hatchet, but he also deals with a bow, and he's pretty damn accurate with
I'm going to point out something that would have been nice in the first one. Tomahawk's a pretty light ranged and and good melee weapon.
Yeah. Well, Jamie said hatchet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same thing.
I can throw a hatchet. I mean,
So Tomahawk's just a little bit more professional about it. It's a bit, probably more balanced with throwing.
It is.
Personally, between Ezio and between them, I'd probably take Connor mainly because where we live in
the Pacific Northwest.
In the Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of trees, there's a lot of shrubbery, so I think he'd be able to hide the best, be able to hide his scent the best, and
teach
hunt
us
the
how.
best, and teach us how.
And
I haven't gotten far enough in Assassin's Creed 3 to really get a basis on who Connor is as a character. So that's why
I'm not saying that Ezio, your
right.
choice
I know.
Ezio
I'm
is
just
bad. I'm
saying why I didn't.
and your last character, Jamie?
My last character is Tony Stark, aka Iron Man.
That was the best list ever.
I kind of feel ashamed for going after that. But I think Iron Man is a masterstroke to choose. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's kind of like choosing a necromancer.
Technology problems? Wait, never mind.
Tony fucking Stark.
Well, I mean, not to mention, in the first Iron Man movie, they talk about the arc reactor, and it says, that could run something for a lifetime. Or something really big for 15 minutes. You would have, and I guarantee you can hook that up to a truck, like my really big truck, and we'd have a truck with unlimited power.
To go off of Iron Man again is that they were talking about the arc reactor, and Obi, who's the bad guy in Iron Man 1, was like, I want you guys to build it and minimize it. He's like, we can't. He's like, what do you mean you can't? Tony Stark did this in a cave with a pile of scraps. And they're like, well, we're not Tony Stark.
So
I know what I'm doing when I get home.
So Tony and Walter.
So let us emphasize this. He was given basically spare parts. He was held hostage in a cave with shrapnel creeping towards his heart, and he built
doom approaching.
And he built a clean, unlimited energy source.
While he was supposed to be building nukes while they were watching.
Yeah, he did. So he deceived them too.
Yeah, and not only was he building the scraps, he was taking apart the nukes they were giving him with scraps, with crappy tools,
and no fear.
And no
you guys
fear.
got balls of iron.
And he did have help, but let's face it was mostly Tony.
Yeah.
So my embarrassing list.
Is follow that up, Josh.
I can't, but I'm not even gonna try. But
we should pull ours because that way Tony can upgrade Samus's suit.
Oh God! Samus can fly.
And then Samus turns evil and kills everyone.
See, I would see that group walking down the road, and I would shit myself.
I would, but I think my bowels would come with. They'd just be so anxious to get out of that situation.
I would just poop my skeleton out and just be dead on the road.
That's taking anal prolapse to a whole new level.
So, my list is, of course, myself, because that's part of the list. Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. I mean, he's resourceful. He's a captain of a ship, so he knows how to manage people.
Now, I haven't watched Firefly. Is he the main character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's one of. It's kind of it's based on the entire crew. He's just the one that gets the most screen time. He's played by Nathan Fillion.
I might get some
Can I
crap for
interject
that
something
being
real
a
quick?
nerd, being on a Nerdquest
Yeah.
podcast and not knowing.
It's okay,
and not knowing
guys. I'm
Firefly.
a big Firefly fan.
I'm surprised no one said the Hulk. Because after thinking about it, Bruce Banner is a genius.
And
And the Hulk
is
the Hulk.
It-
And he's radioactive, so he's immune to the infection.
There is a problem with that.
What?
Hulk smashes everything, including you.
Oh God!
The Avengers can deal with it, so can I. I mean, come on.
Are you comparing yourself to
I
Captain
ran-
America and Thor
Yes!
at the same time?
I ran
No,
through the
I'm
idea.
Iron Man.
So why did you... oh, wait.
Because
You're
I
Iron
need
Man.
another one of me.
I ran through the idea of the Hulk, but I try to keep mine from superheroes as much as possible because I felt like it'd be kind of a cop out to have just one huge group of superheroes.
That's why I didn't choose Superman.
But see, I feel like I was thinking about that too today. I was like, someone might choose Superman. In that case, I would change it to where the zombie apocalypse would change to like who you're with. So if Superman was in there, you'd have like zombies with kryptonite laced with
right.
the
Or zombie Kryptonians.
yeah.
So people like Superman, but zombies. So actually, Malcolm Reynolds. I'll tell you, I have a runner-up also in this list, but So Malcolm Reynolds, he's resourceful. He knows how to manage people. He's great in a firefight. Knows how to deal with bandits and pirates. And I've never seen him in a situation that he couldn't get out of.
He's like a violent MacGyver.
He really is. And Harley Quinn, because if you played Injustice, she uses handguns, the pop gun of doom, and a giant mallet. And if she has the same devotion she has to the Joker towards me, it's Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But also, she's a very effective fighter and gets overlooked a lot.
And she has plenty of explosives just in case.
Yeah. So, but if she's not devoted to me like that, if you played Fallout 3 and you've gotten Fox, the super mutant, on your side, him.
Unlimited Gatling laser. Just think about that for a second.
Now, Josh said I had a huge hard-on for Assassin's Creed. Josh has a huge hard-on for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas.
Guilty as charged. The last two are The Flash, Barry Allen specifically. I was gonna go with Jay Garrick, but I'm probably one of 4 people who's gonna understand what I'm saying. But
Is he like a Flash from alternate universe?
Jay Garrick was the OG Flash.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably gonna get some crap for that because somebody's gonna find a really obscure character that was named The Flash. But
It always happens.
But no, primarily the Flash
Risk of
isn't
being
actually there to kill zombies. He's there to go get supplies.
That's true. That is a great idea. I mean, they can't catch him.
Oh.
He can just run past them, and they wouldn't be able to touch him. And not to mention, he would knock a bunch of them down. He'd part the seas like Moses. All right.
And hey, he's red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Playing words.
Exactly.
but I mean, like, and if you need like a specific thing, like, oh, I need ammo. I need like 5.56 rounds. He'd be like, all right, be right back. And
I couldn't find any in Africa, so I just went to China.
my last one is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because once again, resourceful. I guess that's kind of the theme I went with. Resourceful. She can kill just about anything.
She's killed about anything.
She's killed just about everything. And she was written by Joss Whedon.
Which makes everything awesome.
Yep.
And I guess
Unless you're Fox News.
But so I had a runner-up. Was Mr. Mixia-Spitlick. He's from DC Universe. He's a character from the 5th dimension, and since he's in three dimensions in this universe, he has basically godly powers. He has powers that put like magic users like Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate to shame. And I mean, I figured, I could use a demigod on my side.
You know, if I was
too much of a wild card to be on a team, I'd be scared that he'd turn on me.
If I was to go with a superhero, I'd probably go with Green Lantern.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Because he can make anything on the spot.
Yeah.
Dang it, the question was real life weapons. I'll just take a power ring.
See, that's what I would have said too if it wasn't real.
Yeah. That's all the questions, and
What about that? Well, you mentioned to me earlier that you had 4 questions actually.
no,
Wasn't there one for you and Jake?
I hate you, Matthew. The question was, are you guys single?
Oh my god.
I answered that one actually on the Tumblr.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I said, I am very single, and I can't really speak for Jake, although I believe he is currently.
Yes, I'm single.
Wait till next week, he won't be.
But
Ladies, please.
Wait 10 minutes, you won't be.
Whoa.
He's a very pretty man.
Okay, hang on. You said 10 minutes. There's 4 guys down here. 3 guys, including me. Okay.
Hi, Jake.
Okay.
It doesn't count with my brother and Farney, because for those of you who've seen Scrubs, Torque and JD right here.
Yeah.
And that just multiplied the people that ship us by 5.
Yeah.
Oh my
basically.
god.
You're welcome.
But
We'll just cut that out.
I guess, and I was gonna have this big, fantastic zombie survival plan. I only got done with step 1, parts A through A, B, C, D, E.
I was expecting Z.5.
Yeah. Well,
Josh's kind of neurotic about this.
man. Okay, it's like we said at the beginning of the podcast. It's not if it's gonna happen. It's
It's
when.
when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So have all your bases covered, people.
Oh, and for when you have your internet, you can use this as a reference.
Yep.
And technically, I suppose this would be actually planned. 502 because I have contingency plans in case the plans that I've already planned don't work. Oh, hey, contingency plans are important. That's how Doctor Doom
In
wins. So
case you
much.
didn't hear that,
Not
there was a
475
huge collective
of them.
sigh between the 3 of us that aren't talking.
I hate you guys. Oh,
We
you guys
love
just
you.
don't understand me.
I know.
So, okay, I got the first part of my plan was I'm just gonna launch into this. If you
Okay,
guys
go ahead.
Was
We'll throw in our input as you go.
drive specifically my brother Matt down to Fred Meyer
Because,
so he
I'm
can
the
take
sheep.
part of the mass looting.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who know me, me and my brother are very close. We almost never fight. And so this is a really big thing for me, like letting my brother go into this mass looting. There are zombies, there are other people who are looting, and that's kind of terrifying.
I think that's where most of the human-on-human killing would go, is the
That's
mass
why it's
looting.
terrifying.
And considering they move fast, I tend to notice quick movements and react to them rather quickly.
Over dramatically and violently.
Yeah.
You're
That's still an
hypervigilant.
understatement.
You're hypervigilant, but I feel like in that situation, there's nothing wrong with
It's like no. In fact, in the zombie apocalypse, I wouldn't even classify paranoia as a mental disorder. It's a survival skill.
Yeah.
And humans, especially in a situation like that, they're going to be tense, they're going to be filled with adrenaline, they're going to be moving quickly.
Yeah.
When I'm in that state, I tend to capture motion better with my eyes.
So he's probably going to get a higher kill count than anybody else there.
what's your kill count? Oh, wait, mine's high.
Before the zombie apocalypse starts.
So, just to go on a quick side note, you mentioned that you have diabetes.
Yes.
And you take insulin injections.
Yes.
Do you have a plan of what you would do to
Aside from loot every pharmacy.
Obviously, there's the loot every pharmacy, but that'd be a dangerous thing to do because a lot of people are going for medicine, especially people who've thought about it like us.
People are going to go after painkillers and anything they can do to help anybody, whether they
Antibiotics.
have
God,
diabetes or allergies or something like that.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brother's exercise equipment. Because a lot of exercise can help regulate the blood sugar by using the sugar up more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that way it won't be perfect. Insulin would still be better, but if I don't have any, it's the best I can do at the time.
It's a good plan B.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you'd be able to function normally like that too, still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, like, it'd be a really bad idea to let my blood sugar go though, because my brain kind of disconnects from my body.
Keep a test kit.
Yeah, but strips are also going to make pharmacy.
All right.
Anyways.
I have 2 points for that. One, could you better regulate your blood sugar through over-calorization or something to that effect?
But do you mean just
By
eating a lot?
by ingesting more sugar that you need.
Isn't that dangerous for a diabetic?
Well, if I eat a lot, my blood sugar is going to go really high, which is going to if it stays too high for too long, it can start cutting off the blood circulation to my limbs, my eyes, and blind is not what you want to be in a zombie apocalypse.
Welcome to the medical part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
So
okay, to back up, I had ulterior motives for inviting these two on the podcast. One, James, as we've mentioned, has CP, so interesting to see what his perspective on this is going to be. And my brother with his diabetes. I have celiac. That just means I can't eat gluten. And honestly, in a zombie apocalypse, my life expectancy is shortened by about 30 years anyway, like everyone's is.
So zombies are going to be more likely to kill him than intestinal cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Matt would have to deal with his diabetes. How would you deal with your CP, Jamie?
Well, I don't have anything maintenance-wise that I have to do.
Would you, yeah, but
there's, of course, the problem that I'm slower than everybody else is. And have less balance, so I won't be like Mr. Agile jumping from tree to tree or anything like that.
Or jumping across bar tables.
Right. I guess my my way of dealing with that is to not be a scavenger, but to hold myself up with a bunch of supplies in an armored house.
I was actually going to say, can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Get a lot of long-range weapons.
yeah, I was kind of wondering about that too when you were listing your weapons that you'd want, that you didn't have more long-ranged.
And
I didn't get to finish my weapon list for one.
Oh, did you not?
And one of them was a sniper rifle.
Oh, we're really sorry. Go ahead and go over your weapons.
Yeah, I got the
again.
first three, but the last one was a sniper rifle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
A hunting rifle with a scope.
We're a bunch of dicks around here.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. But, overall, I mean, and not to mention in every single tabletop RPG of almost that I've ever done with James, almost always been like a ranger or a sniper of some
This
kind.
is true.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, okay, so the things that my brother would be picking up would be 8 hand radios. Not walkie-talkies, but like hand radios with adjustable channels.
Okay.
8 because there are 4 of us, and doubles are always appreciated.
It's always nice to have a backup.
Yeah.
And also, you never know who else we might stumble upon that we need to take with us.
Right. Any convenient melee weapons. Just anything he could find at the beginning.
Yeah, because I imagine that, like, we're talking this apocalypse like it's just the 4 of us. But I think it'd be the worst case scenario would just be the 4 of us.
Right.
I assume that along the way of us meeting up, like we would have a designated area to meet up at, but we'd also be going around to our friends and trying to pick them up.
Right.
It also depends on when it happens, because like if it happens at school for me, because I'm still in school,
Yeah.
then there are going to be more people who are likely to come with me.
Yeah.
I just thought of something horrible.
Of course you did.
I'm a writer. It's what I do. If
Josh is sadistic too.
I really am. It's kind of a
That's
problem.
still an understatement.
But like for example, MCAT, we've had her on the show before.
Mm-hmm.
If we went to pick her up and she was already a zombie,
Mm-hmm.
what would that do to like us, like psychologically?
We'd run
Yeah.
away.
Destroy it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we hinted at it earlier at the podcast, but you gotta realize the psychological war or the psychological part of the zombie apocalypse. There's a big part that's not from the zombies inducing on you. It's the fact that what happens when you run into family members or friends that you can't help.
Or like, for example, if my brother became infected and became a zombie,
On the upside, we don't have to worry about diabetes.
true, but I would be absolutely destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And like, or my dad. I mean, you guys know my dad.
Your dad's a badass.
I don't want to see your dad as a zombie. That would be terrifying.
Partially because honestly, if he was a normal zombie, it'd be like his normal zombie would be a tank from Left 4 Dead.
Yep, pretty much.
But no, I mean, it's just like my dad, who I've had like all these great experiences with, these great talks, and all these wonderful understanding between us. In case you can't tell, we have a great relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And if I saw him, like, even if I saw him as a zombie, even worse, if I saw him become a zombie,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably just put a bullet in my head.
We actually have an example of something like this. A while ago, the 4 of us were participating in a zombie photo shoot with our friends, which
Yes.
it's going to be the icon thing for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of Farney where he had to pretend to be putting down my brother because he became a zombie, and you could see it wasn't easy for him even to pretend.
Like, yeah, just like you, if you were there, you could see it was frustrating.
It comes through on the photo.
It does, and it's just real. Like we might throw that in for a couple seconds on the video, but it just seeing him in that position and like we didn't even have a real gun. It was a fake gun.
Yeah, it was an
And so,
airsoft.
and just looking down the sights at it, I was like, I don't know if I could do this in real life. But the thing is, though, what do you think is the more humane thing to do in a zombie apocalypse if someone you love is turned?
Oh, yeah.
Do you put them
Put
down?
them down like a dog.
You think you put them down? You don't leave them?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could not do that because honestly, if zombie apocalypse and I get bit, put me down then and there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless I'm working on something like a cure, then put me down there because that's the last thing I want to do is become a zombie.
If you were if no one would do it for you, do you think you would have the willpower to do it yourself?
Yes.
I think I would too.
I've thought about this all the time.
I think I would rather, like, if I was bitten and I was turning, I would think I would rather do myself in than give someone the grief of them doing it.
Honestly, if it was like just us four, zombie apocalypse, I'd wait till we had a safe place. Then I would go off and kill myself.
If you were like on watch while we were sleeping or something, yeah.
No, first I'd wake someone up, and then I'd be like, "Hey, I'll be right back."
I gotta go like pee or something.
Which also begs the question: when does most of the psychological damage occur?
That's true.
Is it
That's a really tough one.
at the beginning when you start seeing your friends and family turning, or is it when you're surviving, when you become hardened against humanity, or when you start seeing the only way out is killing yourself?
I think it depends on a couple factors: the person, what aspect of psychological damage you're talking about, and the situation they're in.
Yeah, that's true. I think when the shit starts hitting the fan at first, it's gonna take a huge impact on you. But over time, you're gonna get over it and move on. But it's always gonna be there in the back of your head. So when it becomes a point where you're surviving, you're with a group of friends, you guys have become a very close knit type family, and something like that happens, it's gonna reverberate to the beginning where, oh my god, I've been through this already. I think what will happen is it'll cause that to its tipping point and do even more damage. I think in the long run, it does more damage.
I think,
which brings up the point of being alone. While it is possible it could cause damage over time,
it's a lot less
immediate
worrisome.
damage.
Exactly. You're not going to have impacts like that happen to you. You're going to be able to deal with that because it won't be happening.
It's a double-edged sword, really.
Right.
When you're alone, you don't have to deal with the grief of the possibility of someone you love and you become really close with.
But when you're in a group, you got someone watching your back.
But in a group, you got someone watching your back and you have someone to interact with, so it won't get to you.
So it's kind of like flip a coin, Two-Face. Pick your poison.
Honestly, though, I think for me, personally, the greatest psychological damage would happen if, like, for example, if it was us four, we're really close, and it's like 2 years in the future, and I see someone I know that's a zombie.
You think that would do the worst?
It would kind of bring you back.
Yeah, because it would bring it right back to start. Like, for example, Caleb, for example.
Odie, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a really
shout out Caleb Odie. He's a really cool guy. One of my best friends.
Hope he's listening. He's at college right now. If he comes back sometime, and
we're gonna have to have him.
We'll have him on. He has great input. He's a very intellectual guy. He's fun to talk to.
But like, for example, I mean, like, if it was us four in this room, and then we're going around, we're scouting, and I see like Caleb as a zombie, that would just tear at me. Yeah. Because honestly, I think the greatest impact would be not during the beginning, but after it, because at that point it's just fight or flight. That's all. Your brain is locked down.
I think at that point when it breaks out, just for that fact, in case I didn't know if someone was alive or dead, I would try to get away from as far as possible to where people I know, so I don't have that possibility.
Right. Which is
yeah.
To weigh in, I think one of the worst things for me, and I guess it sounds cheesy, but my girlfriend getting something happen to her.
That's not.
I don't think it
the
sounds cheesy at all.
reason for that is it's not like a new thing. We've been best friends for about 7 years now.
He broke out of the friend zone.
I did break out of the friend zone.
It's possible, nerds. It's possible. All right.
However,
never
there
give
was
up.
some reverse friend zoning going on too, so it's a very complicated.
You know what?
Situation.
They both broke out of the friend zone then.
Yes,
which actually
we're both heroes.
Never lose faith.
Which makes me think of what would be the worst for me. Besides any of the people in this room, counting my dog. Well, actually, I'm not really sure where you registered. It's kind of different. But there's this girl. She's not my girlfriend. I don't have that type of relationship with her. I don't intend to. But I've been best friends with her since we met in first grade.
Do I know this girl?
Desiree?
I knew it.
So I think that seeing her being zombified or becoming a zombie, that would just, it would kill me because we've been best friends for 10, 11 years now.
Yeah. What do you think would be harder, to have to put down a friend or to have to put down a family member?
For me, friend.
For me, he screwed up.
Well, it's because, besides my brother, I feel a stronger connection with you guys than I probably did with you guys.
Okay.
For me, honestly, for you, it probably depends on which family member.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, honestly, there's a point where my friends become my family. Yeah. Jake, you and me have been absolute best friends since the moment we actually met. And Jamie, we've hung out for so long that like you could literally just open the door, walk in, and my dad would go, "Hey."
Yeah, that's
Like,
also very true.
Yeah, I mean, and like
We
I have
also finish each other's
sentences
Yes.
sometimes when we pick up on the cues. But, hamburger. No, anyway,
taco.
nachos.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm getting hungry.
Anyway,
We can eat Matthew.
So the point is, to
I'm
me,
the skinny one. Eat him.
yeah, but with me, it's all cholesterol and fat.
Barney, I'm sorry.
Oh, damn it!
But no, honestly, to bring it back, I mean, to me, there really is no difference between putting down a family member and putting down a friend.
I was gonna say that too. I think it would be psychologically hard for either one.
It's just
It also depends on the level of friend.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, I couldn't do either one. I would be like, I believe it's Herschel from The Walking Dead, who's got all his friends and family holed up in a barn as zombies waiting for a cure.
But
I would be that guy because I know I'd either
Yeah.
be working on a cure or collaborating with somebody on a
Yeah.
cure.
now, just to talk about that real quick, I know we talked about this earlier. You and I watch it religiously. I don't think you guys watch Walking Dead that much.
No.
So I'll ask Jamie this. Do you think he was in denial, or do you think he was really thought there was going to be a cure?
I think it was both. I think it started out, of course, there's going to be a cure. They're going to have to find something.
Mm-hmm.
But after a certain point, it becomes denial. And I think that threshold is different with each person
Mm-hmm.
because we all have our own psyche that determines that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it slowly eroded into denial, but I think he still fully believed. He never fully gave up the fact or the chances of a cure coming out because they didn't know.
Isn't that the whole thing about denial, where you make yourself believe something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just thought I'd put that in. To bring it back around to the plan.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I completely forgot we had that.
So basically, Matt, you would be dropped off at Freddy's. I'd drive away making as much noise as I could for both the looters, to make myself a target for both looters and zombies. He'd pick up 8 hand radios, any convenient melee weapons, lots of perishable food, because it's going to go bad soon anyway. We should probably start on that.
Yeah.
Seeds.
Like
For plants. We're also going to
Seeds,
stop by
legumes.
McClendon. Yeah, we're also going to stop by McClendon. And lots, and like basically, I told him, like you always see this in the cartoon where they have the cart and they have one arm on the shelf just shoveling it all into the cart.
Do
Do that for canned food.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, kill anyone who gets in your way.
I think like if there was a ratio when you first start looting, I think you would want like an 80-20 ratio of 80% non-perishables and then 20% perishables.
Yeah. By the way, for the record, to our listeners, I might be borderline sociopathic.
we won't know until it happens.
No.
Borderline? When was it ever a question of borderline?
Well, because honestly, like I this was really weird. It was one of those moments where you just realized it was one of those weird crystallizing moments, and
It was crystallizing?
Yes.
You were crystallized?
yes, no, I'm zombie proof. But like I just told Matthew, if anyone gets in your way, kill them, and I am 100% serious.
I think as long
And
as
if you are in my way during the zombie apocalypse, you will soon be dead.
Also,
as long as if it's a complete stranger, as long as it's not someone you know and care about.
if you think about it, most people are also going to be going for food first, weapons second. So they're probably not going to have a lot of guns.
No.
So my quick reactions and the fact that I'm already moving with the cart, I could probably just run him over and kill him then.
I have a plot for weapons actually.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be me and Jamie because I'm trusting you to come down on your own.
Yeah.
And me and Jamie are going to go loot the pawn shop.
Okay, I don't
Yes.
blame you for that.
Because I went there today just because I've never been there before, but there's a pawn shop just outside. And I went there and I saw the guns.
Guns. Wasn't there like a...
There was a 19-inch Bowie knife. Jeez. There were multiple 19-inch Bowie knives.
Josh said, just real quick, Josh mentioned real quick that I'd be coming down. Josh, Matt, and Jamie live in a very close vicinity to each other.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the outcast, or I'm kind of the odd man out where I live
Up a hill.
I live up a hill and some like 10 minutes away. So I'd be making my way down as they're doing this, and I would assume that I would just join in probably with Matt because I can get hyper vigilant too, and I'm a tank.
Yeah.
So I'm a big dude. So I would I think we would do pretty well with the looting, and we'd be able to just elbow and shove our way through it.
If you don't kill them, but
then eat them.
yeah.
So we don't want Kuru here.
Oh,
That's only if you eat the brain.
and only diseased brain.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Kind of point, Tyler?
I did my research on Kuru.
Actually, Caleb did research on Kuru. He just told you.
This is a little concerning that you're researching Kuru, and if you don't know what Kuru is, it's a disease
degenerative brain disease.
that you get from cannibalism.
You can't see my smile now, but I'm smiling.
It's concerning.
Also, something else I brought up.
Oh, damn. Josh has showed us...
I'm showing you guys a picture of... I'm showing these guys, not you guys, because I don't care about it. I'm kidding, I love you.
It has more guns than a redneck barbershop. Any Ray Stevens fans will get that.
No, but honestly, there are easily 100, 200 guns in this picture.
Put the picture
Yeah.
in the video.
We could.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And
We'll put it in the video. Watch for it.
in the glass case, there are also probably 20 handguns. Most of those are revolvers, and like I saw a Python there, and they stopped making those.
Yeah.
And
they stopped making AK-47s too. I wonder
there's
if
also
we can find
this.
them. Oh, sorry, they stopped.
We're going to the pawn shop.
We are going to the pawn shop!
This was just on the counter. I could have just taken it.
The picture I'm looking at right now is...
We have to put this one.
I imagine that's an LMG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of some sort.
It looks like a military-grade LMG
With an ammo bag.
with an ammo bag. I don't know where we find ammo for that, but yeah.
They actually have ammo for it behind the counter.
Jesus. We are
This
raiding...
pawn shop is...
Now I see why some people
Can we
think
just
our
go
town's a
for
hick
general?
town.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're going to sometime.
Okay.
I thought where we lived, I'm not going to say where we live, but I thought our little city was a very kind of liberal, not so conservative city. No! I see why people think we live in a hick town.
There are worse towns around us.
There are,
We're
but
pretty bad.
I've never walked in a pawn shop and seen that many guns and a freaking LMG.
Yeah.
Oh, they're also on the shelf. What isn't in the pictures, on the shelf behind me, there are probably 10 to 20 legit swords. Katana, wakizashi, aka shorter katana.
I know where I'm getting
Tontos.
my katana for my plan now.
No, like, seriously.
We can basically find all the weapons we wanted
And
there.
do you know what the best part is?
We shouldn't have told them.
I was going to say, do you know what the best part is?
They don't know where we live.
Everyone's going to be looking at the sporting goods stores.
Yeah, that's. I think this is the first time I've ever thought about a pawn shop, and I like my guns. I'm kind of a gun guy. I'm not gonna say I'm like an expert with them, but I like shooting them. And
I agree.
Same.
When it comes to thinking about guns, I think of sporting goods stores, gun stores, stuff like that.
Walmart.
Never once.
Check your local pawn shop.
Never once thought of a pawn shop, and you got to think about it. How many people hawk guns for money? Because you can get a lot of money for guns.
Also, just apparently, our pawn shop has been preparing for war against a small country or something.
It looks like it.
We're going to secede from Oregon and Idaho.
Yeah, you think Texas was badass? Well, check us out.
Oops, I just kind of gave away what state we are. Oh, well.
Oh, we said Pacific Northwest.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and you just said
figure out
cut
what
away
state
from
we are
Oregon.
Yeah, well, so you got the state. You still don't know where our pawn shop is.
No.
and
And if you get in my way in that pawn shop, you are going to die.
And
There
Josh-
are the guns to do it.
Josh is a big guy, and he probably doesn't need those.
he can
Probably just eat you.
And
I was gonna
something
say
that
that.
doesn't come into play a whole lot, I do have a little bit of martial arts training. Not a lot. Not a lot.
Fat food.
No,
I just laughed because I can just picture. You know Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley?
God.
I pictured that.
Do you know how many times I've been compared to Chris Farley?
Oh, dude, you have his comedic sense,
Is that
and
a
you kind of look
compliment
like
or
him.
an
Thank you,
Okay.
I guess.
Is that a compliment or an insult?
It's a compliment.
It's all
Okay.
good.
At least I'm taking it as a compliment. Anyway,
Really?
yeah.
Give it up.
Anywho, Sue, podcast. No, not podcasters. We're the podcasters. What should we call that?
Listeners?
The listeners, Josh, they're the listeners.
I want to come up with something more fun.
Nerdians?
No.
Nerdians. I like
Nerdians.
it.
Fine, Nerdians.
Nerd questions. Nerd questions.
Nerd questions. That's it. You're the nerd questions who listen to us.
Go forth and fight zombies in our name.
Anyway, back to our plan.
Yeah.
Questions for short.
Yeah, so my plan just fell off my lap, but it's okay. I was done with that. So basically, what's going to happen during the time Matthew is getting, you're not going to have a long time.
Okay, I figured.
We want to treat this probably like a bank job where you want to get in and
Get
out as
in,
quick as
get
possible.
out. So basically, okay, only fill one card. Get a couple of melee weapons because Jake's going to get everything else we will ever need in terms of weapons. And while you do that, you're going to have
Assuming the pawn shop owner doesn't go crazy and just pull himself up in the
Oh,
pawn shop.
Cletus.
We did not think about that.
I've seen the pawn shop.
Okay.
I can take it.
Josh is determined.
Which means Barney probably can, especially if
That
he grabs his
and-
baseball bat.
What is it? I don't know. There was one movie where it's like they're trying to find someone.
You
He's
can just
like
take some
hold
bath
up.
salts
He's
and
like hold up in a
ice.
mall, and he's like defending himself like it's like he's in Vietnam. I mean, that's basically what I would be in the store.
Nice.
There are lots of motor accessories that I can use to drop on people. There are, I'm going to kill someone in this store.
I have a truck too, so I can throw a lot of shit
Actually,
in there.
you could probably just like bump up over the curb and into the store.
I'd probably just drive into the store.
I was going to say, I thought about that, but what if you damage your truck and you can't get it started again?
That's true. I have a
why you
I have a
back
truck,
into it.
but I have a shitty truck.
You also have an AR.
I do have
Bring
an
your
AR
assault rifle down, and in case the shop owner is still there, pop one in.
Well,
with a laser
my-
sight
my-
or with a red dot sight. So
My concern is more if he damages the truck, he can't get down to us.
Well, that's okay because the pawn shop's technically in this town. Almost said it.
yeah,
Almost said it. But and I can go pick him up. Basically, if Jacob is not at my house by a predetermined time,
yeah,
I'm gonna go to the pawn shop, and if he's not there, I'm gonna try to find his house.
yeah.
I've never been to your house.
You've never been to my house. I just realized that.
You have a house?
But
No, he's
so
a hobo.
while
I'm a
my
nomad.
brother's looting Fred Meyer's, this is how much time you're gonna have. I'm gonna loop around. I'm gonna grab Jamie. Then Then we're gonna come back to Freddy's, pick you up, go back to the house, and wait for Jake. Then we're gonna divide up the weapons and the food in case we get separated, and then we're gonna take off. Now this is where the plan branches. We're either gonna go straight north or down south, because I've shown Jake, and unfortunately I don't have the pictures anymore.
Oh yeah.
There's a little gas station. I'm not gonna tell you where it is. It's somewhere in California. You'll get that much. The little gas station.
Good luck.
It used to be a gas station and a food place, but the restaurants kind of shut down, and you can see for miles in any given direction. So we'll have gas. We can hole up there, and we can just get up on the roof, make that a makeshift garden.
Can I give some advice to our viewers?
Please do.
If you do find the gas station and you decide to go there during the zombie apocalypse, bring a sign that says like Nerd Questions or something, so my brother doesn't like kill you.
Oh. We will continue the podcast as the apocalypse goes on.
We will.
We're dedicated.
Honestly, people, I think I'll be the most trigger happy.
It'll be like Potter Watch, except more entertaining.
Yeah,
And you get to hear us kill zombies.
and less
which I'm
depressing. Less depressing
Yeah.
than Potter Watch.
But no,
And-
I really do think I'm going to be the most trigger happy in the group. I'm going to be the most willing to kill people.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary to hear out loud.
We've been over this. You're
I
a
know.
psychopath.
So
And a
I'm a high
sociopath.
functioning sociopath.
Okay.
I think I would just hear shots coming from the roof, and I'd go up and I'm like, Josh, what are you looking at? I thought I saw something move. I'll just take the gun. Just go sit in the corner. Just take a load off.
Actually, like you said, you'd have your dip for stress relief. Shooting things might be mine.
You should
But
get
the
an
thing
airsoft
is,
gun then,
the
'cause then
thing-
you don't waste valuable ammo.
This is true.
The thing, yeah,
And target practice.
Not really, because
You have
airsoft.
blanks, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
blanks probably because airsoft doesn't have the recoil. of a
Exactly.
normal one, and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna blow back.
But the thing is, though, I saw what you saw, or I saw the place you're talking about, and it's clear for miles. You gotta think though, when there's nothing to reverberate the echoes off of, one shot can go for a long time.
But you know what? We're gonna see anything coming.
That's true, but why risk it? Why risk someone or something hearing us and attracting it to
I have a
us?
suggestion.
That's why you don't start off with bullets. That's why you use melee weapons whenever you can.
Why not go silencer?
Right, but if I'm on the roof,
That's it.
if
Actually,
I'm on the
we're
roof
stress
on watch and I see something moving towards us,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill it dead.
First off, on watch, I'd probably be a little bit more conservative, gauge its speed, etc. It's likely to be hostile or not. And for your stress relief, you should get a punching bag.
Yeah.
Because
Or-
you already mentioned exercise equipment.
That, or just start punching one of the mattresses you have up against the wall.
Or a dead zombie.
Oh, God,
I was saying, not if he has any like cuts on his hands or something. You wouldn't want to risk that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea how this can be transferred. I mean,
That's
probably
true.
bites. That's the most common and most likely.
I would say bites and scratches, but that,
Bites, scratches, blood to blood.
yeah, but like,
Well, how I would treat it is if you touch it, you will probably be infected. That's how
Yeah.
I'm going to treat it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if someone touches it, I'm not going to shoot them on sight.
So,
I might shoot you on sight anyway. But
so we should also think about getting gloves.
yes.
Like,
Oh,
one if we can find ones that are tough and you can use effect
Leather.
on.
Yep.
I want to go off this. What would your zombie apocalypse apparel be?
Whatever I'm wearing, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be able to
Well,
really
it-
fashion it. I mean, I guess
Let's
it's
say
stop signs.
we're all paranoid as Josh. we are prepared for this, and so like we have like one of those cases that in case shit hits the fan, break glass, and so you have your starter weapon and you have the outfit you're gonna throw on real quick.
You ever seen Road Warrior? There
Yeah,
you go.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
What about
So
you?
leather
Bobby?
armor from Fallout 3.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what I would. I've never really thought about it before. I was kind of like Jamie, where just what I'm wearing because I'm not paranoid like Josh. I'm just kind of like ready for it. Where like,
That's the new level of paranoid. Paranoid like Josh.
yeah, basically. I would go with something that would be hard to bite and scratch through. So probably something leather.
Well, if zombies can use like a bunch of strength at once,
Mhm.
then like even metal's gonna not do much because
Yeah.
it'll just pull around.
I actually
Yeah,
had
but
a.
you got to think over time their muscular tension's gonna.
over
drop
time,
too.
but that's not what I'm gonna be worried about because over time,
You gotta think that it would probably take a while for them to fully deteriorate.
Yeah.
Actually,
I don't know, deterioration rate of a human body, muscular wise.
Does it go quick?
Pretty quick.
See, I've never researched it, so I don't
I'm
know.
not an anatomy buff. I just know where to shoot people.
another good reason for a leather jacket. What time of year is it going to be?
That's a good point.
They're tough,
true.
and your
If it's
jacket.
in the winter, we're going south. We're not because we're our final destination. Our final destination for if it's not in the winter now, is in the Yukon.
Okay. But
I'm
more,
actually looking at.
A very cold place.
more the point
basically.
is like leather is tougher to catch onto to bite and scratch, but it's also pretty good at containing heat, and you can just take it off if it gets too hot.
That's true.
Oh, you got to think about colder places too. If this happens in the winter, their degeneration's going to be slower too.
But
Yeah.
but also they're going to be slower moving.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of the Yukon.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
hope that they don't just like freeze solid.
Mm-hmm.
And well, actually, I hope that they do.
Hope that they don't freeze solid and then get covered by a layer of snow.
Yeah, that would be.
Because when they do thaw out, they're still going to be under snow.
I feel like it would almost be more
No,
beneficial.
because they'd be dead if they're frozen solid. Because
They're
all of-
already dead. They're
No, I
zombies.
mean they're not going to be. They're not going to be moving because all of the water crystals in their body are going to freeze and break up organs and everything, and they're going to be mush. And that's
Well,
not
as long as
They
they're
still have a skeletal structure though.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying their brain structure is going to gelatinize.
Oh,
there we go.
awesome!
I feel like it'd almost be more beneficial for it to be in like Europe, like England or Ireland or somewhere up there where it's cold a lot, but also you already have castles built, so you have fortresses already made.
I've broached several different defensive structures to Jake, and every single time he goes, "Why not just build a castle?"
I actually have an idea for that. Big. That's a bad idea for defense.
You think?
Like a big and a lot of entrances, which castles kind of they might have a lot, but they have
Castles
multiple.
usually have only 2 or 3.
yeah.
But still, it's going to be harder to cover. And also, depending on where it's situated, if it's somewhere where, I don't know, zombies might end up piling themselves into one breaking through a window.
Okay.
I was going to make a terrible joke, but I decided against it for the sake of our viewers.
Don't you always make terrible jokes?
This is yours.
Oh, yeah, tell us afterwards.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, like, to me...
Now the viewers are just going to want to know, and that's all they're going to be thinking.
We should probably think about wrapping up soon. We're going pretty long.
Okay,
Alright.
so basically, castle, bad idea, any other things to say?
Right. Long story short, we'd all end up taking turns doing watch, except for Jake, because you volunteered for that.
I know, I did, I know.
Because he would be our scavenger leader.
So I would be getting like the least amount of sleep.
Right. Which is why he wouldn't have sniping duties. Whereas, honestly, James is probably going to have the most. Because, because I think your skill with a sniper skill. I like to shoot things, doesn't mean I'm going to be accurate when I do. It's why I like shotguns.
Yeah.
I'm detail orientated. I want to be an engineer, so little things. Yeah.
You notice those. And,
Exactly.
And also, you're going to be the one that we want to get out least.
Right.
In general.
And Matt, as for you, I'm not sure I trust you with a gun of any kind. Because if I open a door too quickly, I'm going to end up with a bullet in my face.
Yeah, it's true with
Pretty
your
much.
hypervigilance.
That's why I'm going to stay away from you guys when we're resting, and I'm going to...
I think we would have like a rule in if you're in the safe zone of like the fortress or a
Put
holdout.
your guns down.
Put them down, or if they're on you, have them on safety.
Or
All the safety.
also we should arrange a specific spot like near the entrance or something.
Where we can stack them.
Yeah.
Or two, one away and one from the entrance, just in case zombies get into
Note
the
to
safe.
Jake, Scav a gun rack. Okay, so, but yeah, like Jake said, we're running pretty long.
We're about as long as our last one. I know I said...
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. We're not going to be having shortened podcasts.
Nerds.
Besides, isn't this what podcasts are kind of for? Just chilling and listening to people talk about random crap?
I know people are like, I've gotten complaints from a few of my friends. They're like, well, we don't have time to listen to it. What are you doing at 10:30 at night? 10:30 at night on maybe like a Friday night if you're at home?
You're sitting on StumbleUpon looking to see what you can find on the internet.
Or
Exactly.
Tumblr, scroll.
Or your hands are busy doing something else, in which case we don't want to know, and you probably don't want to be listening to us anyway.
So yeah, if you got some free time on a night where you're not really doing anything important, and you're like on Tumblr or Facebook.
I listen to podcasts when I'm doing like paperwork.
I listen to podcasts when I drive.
Yeah.
Best thing about podcasts, they keep.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, so
I believe that we keep very good content and we have good conversation and bring up fun little points.
Okay, so we always end with a question for our followers. I actually have one to pose.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to know your zombie apocalypse plan. Like, they probably couldn't care less. Actually, no, they probably care.
Actually, I do care.
I do care.
I want to know,
The game cares.
Okay, but like honestly, I want to know every little detail that you have planned.
Yeah,
I want blueprints if you can give them.
Okay.
Ask him for critique. He's really good at this stuff.
Yeah.
I am, but I try not to.
If you're going for critique, be detailed. If you just want to lay out a plan, lay it on bullet points or something.
Yeah.
So
like, honestly, I would like to see it all. If you only want to give like a little bit so you can keep your hidey hole stuff, I understand that too perfectly. So you can give that to my personal Tumblr at morpheusdreamjosh.tumblr.com.
you can find me at farnydiesel.tumblr.com.
Find me at gimpy314.tumblr.com.
I don't have a Tumblr, but it was nice meeting you all anyway.
And we also have, of course, the Nerdquestpodcast.tumblr.com.
So if you have a question, if you have a personal question for one of us, just put like Jacob and then like colon and then put your question. Just be sure to
Tell it who it's for.
Yeah, tell it who it's for.
Also, I check our Gmail, nerdquestingfornerdquest@gmail.com religiously. It is on my phone, right next to my normal email, which I'm not telling you.
We can post all these links and stuff in the video information,
We can.
Yeah. And so, hope you had a blast. This was one of my personal favorites.
This was a good one. I know a couple people were excited to hear this one.
Yeah,
And, it's one thing all nerds have in common.
Yeah.
And, I hope we delivered.
Yeah. And you know what? I'd like to thank anybody who subscribed. We picked up a good amount of subscribers this past week.
In the last 3 weeks, we've reached up to 10 subscribers.
Which is nice. It doesn't seem like a big number, but it's double digits. And in a matter of 2 days, we went from 1 subscriber to 10. So that's big.
It's and me, I have a YouTube, also not telling you that. But, I think I have 3 subscribers, and those are all, like, friends of mine.
Yeah.
And so, having more than 5 is a huge deal for me.
And like we said when we started this out, we don't care as long if it's like, 20 subscribers or 200. As long as someone's listening and we're entertaining you.
We just like to impress upon you the fact that this is huge for us.
Yeah.
1 subscriber is amazing for us. It gives us reason to keep going.
Ask Josh, I get excited when I see that we have like 10 views on a video.
We actually do, like, if you guys have seen Scrubs, and there are several times when JD and Turk, more JD and anybody else, he'll jump up and down and, like, flap his hands. I do that all the time when he gets friends. It's kind of funny because I'm a big guy.
It's also
so
really,
it's like, jiggle, 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 jiggle.
It's also really funny if you grab a camera. Sometimes I'll be like reading and he'll be doing it in the background. It's really funny.
I do the same thing, but I usually end up falling over in the process. So
we get ecstatic when we find.
So thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed, and thank you to those of you who are listening. We hope you guys enjoy it, and we hope you guys continue to listen. So. You got something to say, Matt?
Just thanks for having us on the show, you two.
Yeah. You know what? You guys are welcome anytime. This will not be the last time you hear from Jamie.
As long as you fill out the appropriate forms in triplicate.
Yes. I'm going to point out, I live with him. I'm probably going to get dragged into this more than I might actually.
We'll drag you into this. You'll hear a lot more of Matt and Jamie, along with MCAT from our last podcast. And you know what? We have a lot of more nerdy friends that will be on this podcast.
I know. For example, a quick shout out, Conrad Stenger. He has been dying to get on this podcast.
Has he?
Yeah.
He hasn't said anything to me, but yeah, Conrad, you'll be on one soon. Okay.
I hope you're listening.
Yeah, you better be listening. Ty Sapp,
right.
if you're listening, you'll be on it too. Next week, we normally give you a preview of what we're going to be coming up with next week. I think we decided earlier today that you want to give the topic.
Well, since I only remember the one that was only one that was mentioned.
Yeah.
In case there was another one. The worst comic book movie miscasts.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about comic book movies that have been made and the cast that like they shouldn't have, or the people they casted that they shouldn't have.
The movies may have been amazing,
Mhm.
but just and maybe even the actor did a good job, but we might feel that the actor just wasn't the right person for the role.
And we'll be giving our opinion on who should have been that player, or should have played that role.
Correct.
But yeah, I think that's it for this week's podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again for coming on and giving us your input.
You're welcome.
Jamie's texting.
I'm being bothered by woman.
Quick to sign out. Peace out.
Bye.